Hello dear students, how are you? So I am back again with another video lecture on the same chapter 1 7th standard science, nutrition in plants. So students, I hope you have gone through the first video lecture from this chapter, because in continuation of that only today we will discuss some more topics. So in previous video lecture of mine, I discussed with you about the two main modes of nutrition, which are autotrophic and heterotrophic, and we were discussing about the food making process in plants, which is referred as photosynthesis. So students, now we know that for photosynthesis plants require some raw materials and some specific conditions. Now in raw materials they need carbon dioxide, water and minerals, and in conditions they require presence of sunlight and presence of chlorophyll. So students, in this video we will discuss a bit more about photosynthesis. Now we will discuss that how each of these raw materials and conditions for photosynthesis are made available to the plants. Okay, right children? So students, photosynthesis, it is performed by the leaves. It is performed by the leaves, and as I discussed with you earlier, that leaves are referred as the food factories of the plant, because the process of photosynthesis takes place inside the leaves. So for the remaining parts of the plant, food is prepared by the leaves. So we call that leaves are the food factories of the plant. So we will see now that how each of the raw material and condition is ultimately reaching to leaves, the food factory of the plant. So let's start with the first one, that is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is one of the essential raw material needed by plants for performing photosynthesis. Now we know that this carbon dioxide gas is present in plenty of quantity in the surrounding air. And I hope you must be remembering that we discussed in previous class that the sources which produce CO2, like respiration from animals, burning of substances on earth, so all these things they produce CO2 on earth. CO2 means carbon dioxide. Now students, plants, they can directly take this carbon dioxide gas from air through their leaves. So as you can see in this diagram, so this is a schematic representation for the process of photosynthesis. This whole diagram is representing the process of photosynthesis, and it is very important for examination. So this diagram as a whole representing the various raw materials which are needed by a plant for photosynthesis. So plants, they take CO2 from air directly through the leaves. The question comes, how they take CO2 from air. So for example, this is a leaf in my hand. Okay. If you remember children, in previous standard 6, in the chapter Getting to Know Plants, in that chapter we discussed about the functions of leaf, and there we have learnt that on the surface of the leaf very small pores or holes are present, and these holes we call as stomata. We call them as stomata. So students, stomata is plural and stoma is singular. So on the surface of leaves, on both upper side as well as lower side, this is upper side and this is lower side, so many minute pores are present, but these pores are so small to be visible with our naked eyes, but these are clearly visible under a microscope. So, through these tiny pores called stomata only, carbon dioxide from air enters into the leaves. And their leaves, they use that carbon dioxide for performing photosynthesis. Now, let's see what is the exact structure of a stomata, a single stoma. These are tiny pores we are saying. So, the structure of a single stoma is comprised of two bean-shaped cells which are referred as guard cells. These two bean-shaped cells, we call it as guard cells. And surrounding these guard cells, we have another layer of cells which are known as subsidiary cells, about which you will learn in higher classes. So, these guard cells are basically guarding the opening and closing of the stomata. So, this open space amid the two guard cells is basically the stomatal opening through which oxygen gas enter into the surface of the leaf. So, these two bean-shaped guard cells, what they do, what is their function? They regulate the opening and closing of the stomata. That's why we call them as guard cells. Right, students? So, the important raw material carbon dioxide for photosynthesis reaches to the leaves through stomata. Now, students, in previous video lecture we discussed that during the process of photosynthesis, oxygen gas is also released. So, students, that oxygen gas is also released through stomata only to surrounding air. It means we can say that at the time of photosynthesis, a kind of exchange of gases is taking place. That is, from air, leaves are taking CO2 through stomata and photosynthesis is performed. And once photosynthesis gets over, then through the same stomata, oxygen gas, a byproduct of photosynthesis, is released into the outer air. So that is exchange of gases. Right, students? And same we discussed in 6th standard that one of the important functions of leaves is that they help in the exchange of gases. Now I hope you have understood that why and how this exchange of gases is done. Right? Now another raw material for photosynthesis is water and minerals. Yes, water and minerals are again needed by plants for photosynthesis. Now, we know that the roots of the plant, they are embedded in the soil. Now, soil is rich in numerous number of minerals. So, when we provide water to the plant, have you ever wondered that why it is like that we always water a plant at its root zone only? It is always suggested that whenever we are watering a plant, we should give water to the root zone area. It is because, students, that soil is rich in minerals and roots of the plants are embedded in the soil. So what happens when we give water to the soil? Then the minerals which are present in the soil, they get dissolved in that water and it forms a kind of mineral solution. And that mineral solution is absorbed by the roots of the plant. So, from roots, this mineral solution reaches to stem, and from stem, it finally reaches to the leaves, where these are needed for the process of photosynthesis. Right? So, CO2 from air, it reaches to leaves through stomata, and water and minerals from the soil, it reaches to leaves through roots, stem, and finally through the midrib of the leaf. Means it helps, it is a kind of conduction of substances which we learned in 6th standard. That is, substances are conducted from roots to stem and then finally to the leaves. Right, students? So that is about the the raw materials. Now let's see that how the two conditions of photosynthesis, that is sunlight and chlorophyll, are made available to the plant. So students, the two main important conditions which are required for photosynthesis are sunlight and chlorophyll, as we have already discussed in previous video lecture. Now students, the first condition, sunlight, that leaves of the plant, they get it directly from the sun. Actually, sun is the ultimate source of energy on earth. So basically, it is the energy of the solar radiations which leaves of the plant they trap and they convert it in the form of carbohydrates by the process of photosynthesis. And same carbohydrates, they get transferred into the body of we animals through various steps, and because of that, energy keeps on transferring from one level to another. So, the whole sole source of energy on earth is sun, and among all we organisms, these are the plants only which can trap this solar energy of the sun, and that they do by the process of photosynthesis. So, another condition is chlorophyll. So, as I told you earlier, that chlorophyll is a kind of naturally occurring green colored pigment which is present in leaves. We say that leaves of plant are green in color. Why? Because they contain chlorophyll. And students, this chlorophyll pigment is very important for the process of photosynthesis. Why? Because when solar radiations from the sun, they fall upon the surface of the leaves. So it is the chlorophyll which is present inside the leaves of the plant which trap this solar energy coming from the sun. It means if you remove chlorophyll from the leaves of the plant, then there will be no photosynthesis going to occur, because it is chlorophyll only which can trap the solar energy of the sunlight, and that they again further convert in the form of carbohydrates. So, the chlorophyll which is present in the leaf, it traps the solar radiation, it traps the sunlight, and along with the other raw materials like carbon dioxide, water and minerals. So, combining all these materials, the energy is converted in the form of carbohydrates. Along with that, oxygen gas is also released. Right, students? But students, you might have seen that in certain plants, the leaves, they are not green. I told you that leaves of a plant, they appear green in color. Why? Because they are containing green pigment called chlorophyll. But say for example, I am having this leaf. So this leaf, it is not green in color. It is having brownish color. One more, say here, again, it is not uniformly green. It is a kind of pigmented leaf. One more example, this one, it is a small, but again this leaf is not green in color. Here also, a very beautiful shaped leaf I am having. If you just observe, the half part of the leaf, it is having patches of green, and here the patch is bigger patches of yellow in color. So, what about these leaves which are not green at all or which are not uniformly green? So, they are not appearing green because they are not containing chlorophyll. But question comes, if they are not containing chlorophyll, then how their own parent plant is able to grow and flourish. Because I have plucked this leaf, brown color leaf, from a plant itself, and that plant is well flourishing. So it means that the leaves which don't appear green, they also perform photosynthesis. Yes. And reason is that, students, in the leaves which are not green, the amount of chlorophyll which is present is very less. And the amount of other color pigments are present in the leaves is very large. So what happens? The large amount of other color pigments, they mask, they hide, they cover the small quantity of chlorophyll which is present in these leaves. But since all these different color of leaves, they are containing chlorophyll, although it is present in smaller quantity, it doesn't matter. But these leaves are also containing chlorophyll, and that is in smaller quantity. And because of that chlorophyll only, they are able to perform photosynthesis by trapping the solar radiations. Right, students? So sometime from this topic we get in exam the question that the leaves which are not green, do they perform photosynthesis? Justify your answer. So the answer is yes, they do perform photosynthesis because they contain a smaller quantity of chlorophyll which remain hidden under the large quantity of other colored pigments. So this small leaf is containing large quantity of a brown color pigment, and that brown color pigment is masking the smaller quantity of chlorophyll. But although the chlorophyll is not visible as green color, but it helps the plants to perform photosynthesis. Right, students? So that's all about photosynthesis. So in photosynthesis, we learned that it is a food making process in plants. They use carbon dioxide, water, minerals, and they prepare the food as carbohydrates in the presence of conditions like sunlight and chlorophyll. So students, that's all about for this second video lecture of mine. Go through it and also read the corresponding portion from the NCERT and keep on completing your writing work in copies also. Next video, we will be discussing bit more topics from the chapter. So till then, take care. Bye.